You have prayed about your relationships. You have made the lists, the qualities you want in a partner, the red flags to avoid. You have asked God for clarity, for peace, for the right person. And somehow, you still find yourself in the same patterns. Anxious in one relationship, distant in another, swinging between desperate and detached, wondering why something that is supposed to be beautiful keeps feeling so hard. What nobody told you is that your love life is being shaped by something that formed long before you started dating, before your first relationship, before you ever opened a Bible. Your attachment style, the pattern your nervous system learned about closeness, safety, and love, is quietly running your relationships in the background, and until you name it, it will keep running them. Today we are covering all four. One of them describes you. And understanding which one is not about labeling yourself or finding something else to be ashamed of. It is about finally making sense of why you do what you do, so you can start doing something different. Attachment theory comes from decades of research into how early relationships with parents or caregivers shape the way we connect with people later in life. What your brain learned early about whether people would show up for you, whether it was safe to need someone, whether closeness led to comfort or pain, that became a template. And that template followed you into adulthood, into your friendships, into your faith, into your dating life. Proverbs 25 says the purposes of a person's heart are like deep waters. Attachment theory is one of the tools that helps you draw them out. The first style is anxious attachment. If this is you, closeness feels like something you are always chasing but never quite reaching. You care deeply, sometimes so deeply that you mistake the intensity of your anxiety for the depth of your love. When someone goes quiet, you spiral. When a text goes unanswered, your mind writes entire stories about what it means. You need reassurance more than you want to, and you feel ashamed of how much you need it. In Christian dating, anxious attachment often looks like a prayer life that's less about seeking God and more about seeking certainty. You're not asking Him which way to go. You're asking Him to promise that this person will not leave. The fear underneath is real, but it was formed before this relationship, and it will not be fixed by this relationship. The second style is dismissive avoidant. If this is you, you value your independence above most things. Emotional conversations feel draining. Vulnerability feels unnecessary or even weak. When someone gets too close, something in you wants to create distance. Not because you don't care, but because needing people was never fully safe when you were learning how to do it. In Christian dating, dismissive avoidant often looks like the person who says they're waiting on God, but the waiting has become a comfortable way to stay unavailable. They're not resistant to love, they've just quietly deactivated the desire for it. Independence feels like strength. Letting someone in feels like a risk they haven't decided to take. If this is the first time someone has given you language for what you've been experiencing, subscribe to Bible and Boundaries. This is exactly the kind of conversation we're committed to. The third style is fearful avoidant, sometimes called disorganized attachment. This is the most complex of the four. If this is you, you want love deeply, but the moment it starts to feel real, something in you pulls back. You pursue someone, and then you get scared when they respond. You fall hard, and then you go quiet. You want closeness, and you fear it at the same time. People who love you say you run hot and cold and can't predict which version of you is coming. In Christian dating, fearful avoidant often looks like someone who prays intensely for a relationship and then sabotages it once they have one. They feel drawn to intimacy and then overwhelmed by it. They carry a lot of shame about their own behavior because they genuinely don't understand it. But fearful avoidant doesn't mean broken. It means their nervous system learned that the people who were supposed to be safe were the people who caused the most pain. That's a wound, not a character flaw. The fourth style is secure attachment. If this is you, you're generally comfortable with both closeness and independence. You can express your needs without panic. You trust that conflict doesn't mean the relationship is over. You don't need someone to feel whole, and you don't disappear when things get real. You're not perfect, but your nervous system has enough of a foundation that fear doesn't make the decisions. Here's the important thing about secure attachment. It's not only something you're born into, it's something you can move toward. Romans 12:2 says, "Do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind." That transformation is available, including in the part of your mind that learned how to love. Over the next few weeks, we're going deep on each style: anxious attachment, fearful avoidant, dismissive avoidant, and what secure Christian dating actually looks like in practice. What each pattern looks like, why it forms, what Scripture has to say about the wounds underneath it, and what healing looks like on the other side. Which attachment style do you recognize in yourself? Drop it in the comments. Most people find that they see themselves in more than one, and that's normal. We read every comment, and just naming it is already a step towards something. If you want to go deeper right now, the Bible and Boundaries Healing Journal was made for this kind of work. 30 days of guided scripture and reflection to help you understand your patterns and begin healing them. Link in the description. Use code WELCOME for 20% off. We'll see you in the next one.